All right, so we got the gym spotlight. I'm Zach Harmon, your host with TruStrength Performance and Rehab, and I wanted to, with this series, I always want to just bring a spotlight to either some fitness professional or gym community that I work with, and kind of discuss kind of why they're different and why I enjoy working with them. And so today we have Nathan Morris on, and we wanted to talk a little bit about what makes Method CrossFit so awesome. And I just want to introduce Nathan Morris. Give us a little brief description on your gym and you yourself.
Okay, thanks, Zach. Yeah, guys, Nathan Morris, owner, coach, all the above at Method CrossFit. We're located in Centennial, Colorado, near the Tech Center, if you're familiar with that area. I think a lot of what makes our gym special or unique compared to others is I know a lot of CrossFit gyms will say the community, but for us, it really is the community. I've been doing this a long time. Through previous work, have been able to drop in and visit a lot of gyms. Everybody says community, but there are certain gyms that are more just sports centric, I guess, to where they're trying to be competitive within CrossFit. And for me, that doesn't really build the best community. It's when people just have the same goal. And a lot of it is because a lot of our clientele is very similar, as far as like age demographics, all that. A lot of our members have kids, like they're in it just for the health. They're not in it to compete. And because of that, we've had members here. The gym turns 10 on May 21st of 2020. There's people who have been here since the beginning. Which there's a lot of gyms that don't even make it a couple of years. Yeah. So I think it's just kind of a testament to the culture that's been built here of we still compete with each other and we have fun with it, but like, we're not out to, you see all like the, oh yeah, CrossFit, body killing, crushing stuff. Like that's not us.
Yeah. So. Yeah. It's interesting that you bring that up because I was just going to kind of ask, since CrossFit can span so many different kind of avenues, right? I mean, originally CrossFit had more of that performance-based type training to it, right? That's initially a lot of people were like, man, if you did CrossFit, it was insane. It was like you competed all the time and all this other stuff. At least that was the public's perception, right? And so I guess talk to me, why CrossFit, right? Why did you choose CrossFit to be the main focus of your gym? And then the other thing is how do you define CrossFit now? Like, what's it look like for you in your culture that you created at your gym?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the CrossFit by definition from CrossFit is fitness across broad time and mobile domains. And the reason I like it is it is a combination of everything. As far as like your gymnastics, your weightlifting, cardio components, nutrition is a huge part of it. And a lot of other like running clubs, they're only focusing on the running part. Weightlifting clubs are only focusing on the weightlifting part of it. And so we get a good rounded out definition of fitness, I believe is what CrossFit does. I think one of the, especially kind of, we've been trying to take more of a focus towards nutrition lately, and people see good nutrition as 8-pack abs and like these rip things. And it's like, no, it's like you can dehydrate yourself and get those. Like you don't, that's not a sign of fitness. That's a sign of water cutting. Yeah. And so, now I kind of forgot what the original part of your question was, but like, I just, for us, the fitness side and kind of why I got into it was the overall health. I do remember it was, how did I get into it? Yeah. For me, it was post-college. I was actually living in Chicago at the time, and I'd always been very active, but then I had, at that point, taken a job at it was an advertising agency, actually, and so I was sitting a lot, and one day I stepped on the scale, and I was like, oh, dang, I am 15 pounds heavier than I thought I was.
Yeah.
So
I got to do something about that.
I got into it because I didn't want to get fat.
Yeah.
And so it was actually kind of funny because what happened was I had always been a runner previously. I ran cross country and track growing up and did martial arts. And so I was always on a very lean side. And when I first started CrossFit, I started off at a weight, immediately dropped just because I cut that fat. But then for me, it was also like healthy weight gain in regards to muscle. So like within a month dropped a decent amount of weight just because I went from not working out at all to now working out again. And then I actually got back up to that number pretty quick,
Yeah.
but it was a totally different way that like my body looked, I guess,
Yeah.
to where like, I never really had, like growing up, I never was like big in like the shoulders or anything like that.
Yeah.
Just always running. It's more of a lower body sport. So
Yeah. No, it's and I guess going back to like you said that like not measuring your health by six-pack abs, right? What I've really enjoyed myself seeing CrossFit kind of span through the health and fitness industry is we're starting to care more about biomarkers, right? Like you have your you have your fundamentals class where you look at movement as a biomarker. I do as well as right as a physical therapist. A little difference, but same idea. But now everyone's starting to maybe measure heart rate variability with some of these like Whoop apps. People are starting to measure what's the quality of their sleep. They're starting to be a little bit more mindful with how much they recover and then how hard can they push their body in the gym. And it's been interesting to see. I think that's a byproduct of CrossFit itself, right? So it goes back to this whole CrossFit health thing. So I guess going forward, how does CrossFit, look now for you in your gym? Like, are you trying to do anything that's a little different with your fundamentals class? Or is there anything that you've started to implement going forward with trying to help people maximize their health?
I haven't really had to change anything. I think you see other gyms that were built on like competition, like, oh, we're trying to get to the games and all that kind of stuff. And like people realizing like, that's not a long-term, like that's not healthy long-term.
Yeah.
Any athlete, doesn't matter who it is, like if you play professional baseball, football, whatever, it's like it takes a toll on your body, just that constant, like you're beating up your body to get it to that peak form. And
performance
so
isn't always health, right? I mean,
correct.
yeah.
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 Wellness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wellness is healthy blood tests, healthy blood levels, all that kind of stuff. Sorry, kind of lost my train of thought, but yeah, no, like that's the approach I have is like, you can get a solid workout in an hour a day. So our classes here last an hour a day. And in that hour, people come in, we properly warm them up for a class, we do some extra stretching, we'll do some skill, technique, maybe a little bit of weightlifting work, do the WOD. So it's anything from, usually it's in the range of somewhere like 7 to 12 minutes. But like the amount of strain that you're putting on your body in that time, like is equivalent to if you do go like on a 3-hour bike ride.
Yeah.
You can
the
same type of results, and your body biomarkers will get the same, like you can yield the same type of results doing that as you can running for 3 hours or biking for 3 hours or anything like that. So,
yeah. I mean, the saying goes, what, more is not better, better is better.
yes.
And yeah, exactly. And it's funny that you bring that up. That strain is like, we can all agree that Americans suck at recovery. Like,
oh yeah,
we are all about, and myself included, right? I mean, I can lump myself in there, even knowing this stuff. I want to run a business really well. I want to compete at powerlifting. I want to do all this stuff. But when you start to add all that in, it can get problematic with if you're not sleeping enough, right? Or you're not eating well enough to support those kind of energy demands. And I think, like you said, like you can get plenty of a good workout in an hour or less, especially if you're American, right? If you're not recovering well and you're just working your butt to the bone and you start trying to work out 2 or 3 hours because you want more, it's just not it's not sustainable way to train, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you just nailed it right on the head with that.
Yeah. Well, a lot of our members are in like just where our gym is physically located. Like we're next to a lot of like just white collar working environment buildings. We're also right next to a lot of like residential neighborhoods. So a lot of our membership base they're in their mid 30s to mid 40s, and they've probably got a couple kids, married, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And so they don't have more than an hour a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if we can maximize that out, if they can get here, like awesome, that's the first part. But then we can maximize their output. It's like they're going to feel good. They're not going to feel like it's not draining them more to get here, and they're not going to feel more drained when they leave. Like I want you to leave like on a high, like, okay, I feel good. I got my workout in today. Now I'm going to go home and play with my kids. So yeah, But to that mark, like it is a lot of people in their mid 30s to 40s. They've got kids, they've got full-time jobs. And so, yeah, we do get people that come in. It's like, I only slept for like 3 hours last night because of the new baby. And then like because of all of that, they're eating terribly.
Yeah.
So,
And you're like,
yeah,
RX doesn't matter. Don't care about
yeah,
RX.
yeah, I don't. RX is not a number in regards to weight. RX is an effort output. Like as long as if you can honestly say you worked your ass off, cool, you win RX.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's great. If I was to ask you like, what's your favorite thing about CrossFit? Where, what would you say the one thing that you love the most about it?
That is a good question. You gave me these questions ahead of time. I briefly looked over them and I about this one.
I can tell you, how about this? I'll go first. I'll tell you the best thing. I love the movement variability of CrossFit.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I like that. I like that you can get an all-around workout, and it's not just going and doing 3 sets of 10 bench press followed by some bicep curl. Like it's like you do feel every time, like almost every workout we do, at some point my core is tired afterwards. Like even if you're doing arms, like because we're doing functional movements, you have to use your legs somewhat too. And vice versa. If it's all legs, like you're still supporting, like if you have to hold a weight, you're still engaging your upper body if you're squatting or something like that. So it really is an all around workout.
Yeah. Awesome. I'll tell the viewers a little bit if they don't know already. You have me on site. So I'm the on-site physical therapist at Method. Talk to me a little bit about why you think that's important, or why that's been helpful to have like a physical therapist working alongside gym staff and the gym culture.
I think it has been super beneficial having you on site. So for anybody watching this who is not aware, Zach is on site at Method CrossFit basically all day on Tuesdays. And then you're seeing members from my gym if they have any issues they need to work through. And then there's other people that come in as well. But we
can mention Pat, by the way, if you want to throw that out. Okay. Pat's cool with us talking. You can talk about how she was not a member prior, right? And then kind of tell her story.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think I'll start over then. So yeah, no, I think it's been super beneficial having you on site. For those that don't know, Zach is here every Tuesday all day. He's here basically 7 a.m. until about 7 p.m. Takes a couple breaks in there to eat. But outside of that, but it's been great for my members who, if they have any issues, they're seeing you, even if they possibly their schedule conflicts to where they can't see you here. The other gyms that you're at are not super far away, so they can still go visit you there. But then the agreement that we have is that anything that you're treating them for, you can tell me and my coaches. And so we know what to look out for, to where like, hey, Jeff needs to, like, he's not allowed to squat below parallel right now, like things like that. And it's super helpful. And then at the same time, I've even seen where like I'm coaching a class, it might be somebody who you haven't seen for about a month, and you will go over and like talk like, hey, make sure you're doing this. And so they're always going to like, I'm always going to listen to a physical therapist or a doctor, like if they have something to say, especially when it's somebody who, like with your background of working with athletes and movement, like, you know, your stuff. And so it's been super beneficial for my current members because they don't have to, like, if they're able to schedule it properly, they don't have to go somewhere else. Like they're already going to be here and work out. And then at the same time, we've actually gained a couple members because it was people who came in to visit you. And they're like, so what's this whole CrossFit thing about? One of them is she's allowed us to, we're not breaking HIPAA. She's told us we could talk about it. She's 74 and amazing. I didn't think I was going to get a 74-year-old member just kind of out of the blue, but she's awesome. We talked a little bit earlier about RX being effort and not numbers. And I think she's a great example of that because she comes in, works hard. She comes in usually 3 days a week, works hard for that hour. And she has a smile on her face the whole time because she gets to come in and move and hang out with people and people she probably would never have met.
Talk about that a little bit. The social connection part. I think that was big for her.
Yeah. For Pat, that's probably a great example. I mean, she's 74 and lived way more life than I have. But she's coming in here and meeting all these new people, half her age, if not less. and,
Yeah.
and they get like, and they're friends. That's the cool part about this is, that's one of the cool things about CrossFit is I like personally, like having moved around in the past, it's like when you go to a gym, like in every gym, there's always going to be like a doctor or a nurse, lawyers, someone who works in real estate, whatever. It's like everybody already knows someone. I actually had it to where I moved once, and the city I moved to, within a month, my car actually ended up getting stolen. And I had like 4 people reach out like, oh, we have an extra Jeep you can borrow while you're looking for something. Or like, hey, my buddy works at the Toyota dealership, or like just all these connections. For me was great because I had just moved to a new city and I didn't know anybody. Because I had plugged into that community, I had all this assistance that I didn't have to go and find.
Yeah.
So, but no, talking a little bit more about like Pat and the community, it's everything from, she'll come in her class, she'll have doctors, housewives, other just working professionals. We have kind of at Method, we've been working more with youth athletes. And so they're probably not in the same class as her, but they're interacting with her a little bit, either on the way in or on the way out. And I'm sure that like that youth is probably helpful for her. And it's probably really cool for those like 11 to 13-year-olds to see someone like that.
And you can just be like, hey, she's working harder than you guys.
Usually she is.
And no, I think that's she's truly an inspiration. I mean, I've worked with her, if you guys with her about 2 years. She came to me in a wheelchair, and she had almost, I think it was 16 or 18, I might be messing that up, 16 or 18 orthopedic surgery. She's had lupus. She's on a ton of medications. Her goal to me when she first came to me was, I just don't want to use assistive devices to walk, right? The doc had pretty much written her the idea that, hey, you're probably going to use a walker for the rest of your life. And she did not want to accept that. That I will give her all the credit in the world. She came to me, she's like, I do not want to accept that. I don't know what we can do, but I'll do whatever you say to get me there. And she wanted to be able to walk on her own at the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo in Colorado Springs. That was her main goal. And 2 years, I think it's 2 years and a couple months now, she's not only done that, she's now deadlifting her body weight, and actually a little bit more than her body weight now. She squats, I'll let you speak a little bit to that, but she basically went from not being able to walk on her own to she now can do every movement in CrossFit, basically some form of it some of it modified, but she just got off Plaquenil, which was one of her medications for lupus that she said she was able to get off of after doing CrossFit and weightlifting together. So yeah, talk to our audience a little bit about what she's capable of now, just doing all of that for about 2 years.
Yeah. So Pat has been here not quite a year, but she had been working with you, and then like classes were happening as you were working with her. So she was seeing these classes happen. And so eventually, I don't know how it came, if you kind of not pushed her, but like, hey, maybe we should check this out. Or if it was
she was scared of it at first, right? Just like she was scared of weights with me. So I pushed her a little bit.
Yeah, she absolutely was. And then now I have to make her take rest days.
I know. That was a thing.
Yeah, but no, so we offer 3 days a week. It's basically CrossFit without the barbell. So it's a very beginner friendly class. And so she's there 3 days a week. It's a Monday, Wednesday, Friday class. And so she's there. It's usually got a core component. And we do stuff with, like, for her, it's lightweight dumbbells, kettlebells. She does, so this is actually one of the cool things, like for her at the beginning to get down on the ground because of her lupus and like wrist surgeries, knee surgeries, all this, like getting down on the ground was an issue. Now she does it easily. And so
it's crazy.
So like our pull-up rig in the background over there, for the longest time, like, so it got to the point where she could get down on the ground, but she was death gripping onto that, like to kneel down. Now she can actually hands in the air, like go from her feet down onto her knees.
I know, it's crazy. Yeah, I remember seeing that.
probably some 30-year-olds watching this who can't even do that right now.
Yeah.
She had, but it took a lot of training, because her balance is off. Her balance has come a really long way. She's been working on that. To where at the beginning, anytime she would work out, especially if it was a new movement, I made sure I was within like 3 feet of her to make sure, like, so she didn't, like, if she was because for her is like she needed to at the beginning be near a bar to where if she lost her balance, she could hold on to it. Now I trust her to stand in the middle of the floor, have a couple weighted dumbbells in each hand, and be like almost like bending down to her knees and then pulling overhead, and that balance is not an issue anymore.
Yeah, and that's so cool because without us collaborating, without this system of teamwork, right? I don't think me alone wouldn't have got that job done. I don't see her enough. I don't get that challenge of tissue consistently enough. And quite frankly, I'm too expensive to see, 5-6 days a week, right? So it never was reasonable to me to hold on to her. And that's why I love being in the gym environment, working with gyms, being a PT, because we need each other in order to actually get the outcomes for these people. And so it was just so cool to see that I was working on her balance so much. And then I convinced her to do CrossFit. And it was like her balance just went, it just started increasing quite a bit in all aspects. All of a sudden I was like, whoa, you went from having support to no support. And that was just after 2 to 3 weeks of working with you guys on a more consistent basis and me communicating with you about what she could or couldn't do. And it was just really cool to see the, even more progress that I've seen from her. So this collaboration has really shown me that it's going to get way better outcomes than being alone in, like, as a clinician or just being a gym by themselves.
No, and for her it was just as much us wanting to work with her as she really did want to get better. And like, it's like, as much as we helped her, like, it was her, like, if she
hard work,
it was her hard work that put into it. Because she
100%.
went from the thing, just doing regular body weight movements were tough at the beginning, but we got through that, and then she got good at them, and her balance was good to where we could add a little bit of weight. So because she was only doing body weight classes, now she's been coming into at least once a week we have we call it power hour. It's a more of a weightlifting class. It's usually something like squat or deadlift centric as part of every class. And she's now gotten to where she can deadlift her body weight for a set of 5.
It's crazy.
And it's just kind of like, dang, like, and she didn't start there. Like, she obviously started way lower, and like, we're there to help spot and balance. And obviously, like, the community's super encouraging. We're like, come on, Pat, you got this. And then now, like, she's getting in on it too, like, trying to encourage other people. It's been fun to watch.
Yeah, that's really cool. And that's one thing I would say is we're kind of guides, right? So like, the only, kudos to Pat, because I've never seen someone flip a switch like she did. She was so scared early on when I first met her to trust any type of challenging exercise or movement. And once she was to have trust with me and your gym and you guys as a coaching staff, once that happened, it was, she will put the work in, she will do it to the T. And it was just really cool to see, because like, it could have easily been like if she went to a normal clinic or never had the opportunity to challenge herself, like we at least allowed that opportunity inside your gym and sometimes with the weights. That fear probably would have never dissipated, because you have to confront that fear head on with a little bit of support. And now she's just kind of run with it, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And for her, it has been unique, because there is a little bit of, like, as a coach, I always want people to do their best, push themselves like to the limits and stuff. Obviously with her, I need to know what her limits are.
Yeah.
At a certain point, you do have to push it to where it's like, okay, Pat, like, we've seen that you can squat without weight. We have to get outside your comfort zone and have you squat with, and like, I'm going to be here supporting you to where, like, I've got my hands on your shoulders, or I'm holding the bar as well to where, like, if she needs to stop, like, cool, I can take that off of her. But it's been a fun trust exercise at the same time.
Yeah. That's and then I just it's been really cool to see your gym kind of push the health aspects even more for her, because she's shocked me, quite frankly, the amount of outcomes she's gotten and progress she's had is just, it's truly awesome to see. And it's really a good story to show that CrossFit isn't dangerous or unsafe. It really comes down to the coaching staff. It comes down to who's progressing you to make it really safe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and it's been a very, like, the other coaches and I are in, like, I'm probably the one who communicates with you the most, but then my other coaches that are on staff, like, I talk to them all the time, like, hey, I tried this with Pat today. It worked pretty well. Maybe try to have her do that with, like, she could probably do more weight than what she did.
Yeah.
And so we stay in communication about, like, I know we're talking about Pat a lot, but we do that with all of our
All
members.
the, yeah.
And so she's just a really good example for what we're trying to talk about. But yeah, no, we talk all the time about, like, hey, we tried this. And there's times where I've told you, I'm like, hey, I got Pat to do this. And you're like, what? Like,
yeah. And then exactly.
She was capable of that. And it's like, yeah, she did it. And she made it look pretty easy. So we've kind of been learning.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's been a great back and forth learning environment for sure. The other kind of question I have for kind of going with is, what makes Method's culture or gym community so special? Like, how would you, is it the support? Is it the humor? Like, how would you define Method's community?
Supportive, for sure. I would definitely say that.
Or how about give me 3 words, right? 3 words to describe your community.
Think about this for a second. Supportive is definitely one of them.
I should have like the Jeopardy sound right now.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, this is
no, you're good. No, I want you to. I want you to think about it for sure, because it's 3 words is to sum up a community is tough.
Yeah, I think the 3 words I would sum up the Method CrossFit community would actually be supportive, challenging, and then the word community. Like, everybody here, like, we kind of have like an unwritten rule of, like, just don't be a dick. Like, like, cool, you can lift a lot like that. Like, no one really cares. Like, if you're going to do that and, like, just be a show off about it, like, no one else in the class cares.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
But if you're supportive of them trying to achieve that, like, people do care about that. So, like, supporting, and then there is, like, challenging. Like, we do have, we kind of typical CrossFit gym, like, we have our whiteboard, we keep scores up on there. And so we do have people that always come to the 6 a.m. and then there's people that come to the 4:30 p.m. class. Sorry, did I say 6? Yeah, 6 a.m. And then people come to the 4:30 p.m. class. And they're like, all right, Tyson did this. He and I usually have the same score. So if he's did this workout in 8 minutes flat, my goal is now 7:59.
Yeah.
So there is, like, that. But it's a healthy challenging. It's not like, oh, screw that guy. I'm like, it's kind of like, no, he did that. So, like, okay, our times are pretty standard. So, like, that is my goal, is somewhere in that time frame.
Yeah.
Whether it's weights or numbers or, like, the amount of rounds that you can do.
Yeah.
So, and then that really is the community. Like, we do the open every year, which is just kind of a fun community, like, seeing how everybody's progressed throughout the year. But I love it because we do end up, like, Friday night, we'll run heats. Excuse me. We'll run heats of the workout. And that is a time for, like, people who always come to the 6 a.m. will now come to the evening class, and just be there and support. And it's people who just, there's no negativity about it. It's like everybody just wants everybody to do the best, and it's a really fun environment.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then tell me, just so more viewers can know about your gym a little bit in better detail, is how would you describe your coaches? Like, what do they do best, and how, maybe individually describe them too, because maybe you guys have different strengths. But and then also, how do you like to program? Like, give the audience a little bit of description there.
Yeah, I'll answer that last question first, because I think I can work backwards. Programming, I kind of follow just the traditional old school CrossFit model of GPP, or general physical preparedness. So it's a very balanced, like, you're not going to see all 20-minute workouts throughout the week. Like, we'll probably have one longer workout, a lot of those kind of middle of the road, time frame domains, classic triplets, couplets, some chippers, all that kind of stuff. And then usually at least one heavier day worked into our normal programming. We do have a couple of we have an Olympic lifting specific class that we do in the mornings. We have a weightlifting specific class we kind of sprinkle throughout our evening classes. And then we do it's basically CrossFit without the barbell. It's called core endurance. So we do a specific core component, and then it's a traditional workout, but there's no barbell. So it's really nice for people kind of like beginning, or they're just not quite comfortable with all the implements. It's a great starting class for that. And then as far as my coaches, the ones that they do well, Jared, as the owner, I'm here all the time.
Yeah.
But I do have other coaches. So Jared and I kind of split the morning classes. Jess and I, for the most part, split the evening classes. We have a youth coach as well. And then another coach that comes in just one day a week. But so Jared is a very, very sound technical Olympic lifter. Very good at snatch, clean, and jerk. So he's very good at Olympic lifting and has one of the best squats you will ever see. So that's kind of more like his background. Still good at just CrossFit though. But like if he had to pick like his favorite parts, he would definitely pick that. Jess kind of skews the other way of like Jared will want quick, fast workouts. Jess is like, cool, make it above 15 minutes and put a lot of gymnastics in it.
Yeah.
So she's very good, like just the gymnastic movements of like pull-ups, toes to bar, muscle ups. She has a background of teaching Pilates classes. So like core strength she's just good at all those type of movements. Also still just really strong at the same time. So that's the balance about it. Cause Jared actually has probably some of the prettiest muscle ups in the gym.
Yeah. Really good kip too. He's really good at kipping in terms of keeping.
Yeah. Like he has great gymnastics fundamentals, which you don't think about for Olympic lifters.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, both of them like all around are great. I probably am the most like middle of the road across the board. Like if you have an Olympic lifting specific technical question, I can answer it. Jared will probably give you maybe just a little bit better answer. Jess, probably that same way on the Olympic side, like not to say I'm a bad coach or anything, but like they specialize in those things. And then Eli, who comes in, he's not here as often, great at nutrition. Also, he's an amazing coach as well, but he's great for nutrition. And then Ryan, our youth coach, he is a middle school gym teacher. And so like that's his specialty. And so I fit in all around the board. I'm the one here just making things run, like making sure bills get paid, programming, all that kind of stuff. So like if I was only specialized on coaching, then like the gym wouldn't exist because there's no one here to make sure we pay our internet bill or a water bill. So yeah, that's kind of how we operate.
That's awesome. And kind of just wrapping up things. How would people find you? Do you do any specials for kind of coming in and dropping in? Well, tell audiences if they wanted to come check out Method CrossFit, how would they do that?
Yeah. So the best way to reach us is just through our website, methodcrossfit.com. If you go to that contact page, I think my email is actually on there. If not, that form that you fill out goes directly to me. Excuse me. We don't have like an automated service. So like a robot's not going to respond to you. Like it is pretty much, it's not mom and pop because I'm single. So it's a pop business. So it gets,
so that's
like,
how you're able to pull this off.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
For those of you who are aware, we are filming this during the middle of the quarantine. So this is my quarantine dash. I also haven't cut this for a while.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
So, but no, if people want to reach us, methodcrossfit.com is the best way to do that. You can also, if you go to either Facebook, Instagram, Google, any of those, like we just type in Method CrossFit, we're the one that pops up. Whatever phone number is on there, whatever email is on there goes directly to me. That is like my cell phone number and my email. So like I get those, I'm the one responding to those. So yeah, that's the best way to find us. That's awesome. If you're ever